This is my 2015 Honda CRF 250R that will serve as the base for my custom dirt bike build. I bought this bike from a friend with a blown motor for $1,100, and I'll tell you more about what happened to that motor later. This is also a 2015 CRF 250R, but this one's motor actually works. As you can see, this bike was involved in a pretty nasty crash. It's hard to tell in video, but the forks are bent, the head tube is completely snapped off. We've got a broken engine mount down here, but we've got a working motor, so for $1,000, I think that's not too bad. But before I start on the custom build of this bike, I want to take the motor out of that bike, put it in this bike to see if I can at least get one complete working bike. Now that the broken front end of this bike is off, it was making it really unbalanced and hard to work on when I was on the stand. So I got that out of the way, and now I can try and get that motor into that bike. Look at this front axle. This front wheel is just tacoed. I don't know if you can see that in footage. Oh yeah, they're bent. You can really see the extent of the damage. Let's see if I can grab the head tube where it snapped off. Look at that.
Hey, would you look at this?
I'm going to put the rear end from the crashed bike into this bike because the linkage bearings in this bike are all cooked. The rear tire is flat, and it just seems easier to just swap that in instead of pulling the linkage apart and swapping out the rear tire. I didn't let it run too long because it doesn't have any coolant in it. I'll change the oil, change the oil filter, some coolant in it, plastics back on, take it for a ride, make sure everything's good before I start this build process. Obviously got to put the chain back on too. But yeah, pretty happy with that actually. Just got to sort this mess out. Well, there it is. One crashed dirt bike and one blown engine dirt bike equals one relatively put together dirt bike. Now the reason I bought the crash bike is for its engine internals, because this is the motor out of the blown motorbike, and when I drained the oil on it, it had a lot of metal shavings from the bottom end, and it also had this cam went out of timing. As you can see, that paint mark there doesn't line up anymore. That's supposed to line up. This sprocket turned on the actual cam, which put the motor out of time. The pistons hit the valves. That's why they've been cut so I can get them out of the head, but They are super bent. And it was just a lot cheaper to buy a whole motor than it was to be able to, you know, pay for a cam separately, pay for valves, pay for some head work, and I'm not sure the condition of this bottom end just because of how many metal shavings are in the bottom anyway. So $1,000 for a bike with a known working motor, not too bad. So I'll swap all the internals out of that head and I'll put them in this one down here, but this one needs the valve guards replaced. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna try and zoom in there. Those intake valve guards are broken from the intake valves being bent. So this head casting is actually fine. I'm just gonna replace those valve guards, and then I'll put all the internals from this head in this, and then I won't have a broken engine mount anymore because this one's fine.
3 weeks later.
The bike works. I've ridden it 3 or 4 times now. It is still very rough, you know, it's hemorrhaging fork oil. I don't know if you can see that right there. Obviously the engine mount on the head on the other side is broken like you guys have seen. But all the parts are there, it does run. The valve shims are actually within tolerance, which is pretty surprising, and it ran quite well. I kind of want this thing to be like an enduro build. Like, it is a race bike, can't get electric start for it, I'm aware of that. So I want to get a Recluse auto clutch because there's no option to actually add an electric start to this model. I think the Recluse auto clutch is going to be the best way to go. To get this bike better for enduro style riding, I'm obviously going to need lights, as per Victorian rules, radiator guards, bash guards, a smaller 18-inch rear wheel, moose tubes maybe, so then I don't have to worry about punctures. I want to do black frame, black swing arm, black triple clamps, sandblasted and then powder coated. I want to do black rims, black spokes, maybe red hubs. Majority of this is going to be black besides the motor. All new bearings in the shock linkage down here because they are basically seized. All new bearings in the hubs, all new bearings in the swing arm, all new bearings everywhere. So once I get this frame powder coated, it'll be a good base to start everything from. If you have any tips or comments or things you want to see on how to get this race bike to be more suited to enduro style riding, leave me a comment and I'll read through them. All suggestions help. I'm obviously new to this YouTube thing, so anything you want to see, you want me to go in depth more with certain things and less with others, let me know. But yeah, let's get started on this thing.